What's up, everyone? My voice not quite there yet, but it is time to get back into the crypto content. And what better time than Monday, January 27, 2025. Today, crypto down. The fear, once again, reintroducing itself. The emotions running high. I just want to say, I'm just hanging out. I'm chilling. Let the pressure cooker get even more pressurized. It is only January right now, everybody. Hit the subscribe, hit the like on the way in. We're going to talk about Bitcoin analysis. I'm going to dive into price action of Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin in the very short term, the recent kind of fall that it's had. Total crypto market cap, altcoins. Is it over? Was it a double top? Is the top in? That's it. Ethereum, ADA, XRP. We're going to take a glance at some of these charts. But here's the headline. Bitcoin dives to under 99,000 as DeepSeek FOMC steal Trump effect. This is what's going on. Much of the concern draws from a possible overvaluation in U.S. tech companies as DeepSeek's latest AI model is significantly cheaper to produce and was built using open source technology that is easy to access. So once this news came out, the thought of OpenAI, ChatGPT, just way overvalued when we start seeing things like this. That's the concern. And therefore, if we go and we look at the S&P, down currently almost 2% for the day. You can see this new daily candle opening, down almost 2%. But this is a more important chart, I would say, right now. It gives us a longer term picture we're going to talk about in just a moment. But either way, just look at the emotional reaction when it comes to these markets. And we're going to dive into the Bitcoin technical analysis, even on the short term. What's the next move for Bitcoin? I will say one more time, let the pressure cooker get more pressurized. And before we dive into the analysis of this video, I just want to go over my sentiment right now. If you sold your crypto because of the DeepSeek news, that's just crazy. I really just think it is. And that's coming from somebody that's a macro-minded investor. I'm not a swing trader, so I guess swing traders out there that are trying to just, nonstop trade in these markets, fine. But if you're macro and you're selling off this news, I really do think it's crazy. Rates are going to come down. Dollar's about to start falling. US will be buying Bitcoin. Money printers warming up. Global liquidity will keep increasing. The bull market will resume. So here's the deal. It's still January. And that's me talking to myself. It's still January. I need to pace myself. But let's talk about this. Here's, I think, one chart that we should just look into. We've been tracking the US dollar currency index, right? This nice move to the upside. We've mainly been talking about Trump coming into play, not liking the interest rates being high, right? Last cycle, he came into play in January when he was inaugurated. Dollar was too strong. We have a very similar Trump right now. And I just saw an interview with him the other day. The reporter asked him, like, is the Fed just going to listen to you? You expect them just to listen to you in lowering interest rates? And he said, yeah. He said, yeah. So if that happens, and look how this fractal that we put on this chart is playing out right now, right? From this swing high. Trump is now in office, January 20th, somewhere right around here. But if this plays out and the dollar does what it did back here, and this was the last bull market in 2017, 2 cycles ago, by the way. This is what the dollar did. If the dollar does this, I would say this is a more important data point to focus on than something like this. DeepSeek news. Short-term FOMC speculations. And so this is the chart to watch for. And we're going to talk about potential increase in pressure, the spring being loaded even more before the next move up. More pain, more patience needed. But this is Bitcoin on the weekly. And again, here's that moment. The dollar too strong, according to Trump, all the way back here. One thing I wanted to mention to you on this chart is this. There's been a lot of comparison, especially now with Trump in play this cycle, a lot of comparison to this bull market back here to the bull market that we're in. You're going to see this kind of narrative. Man, this is bearish divergence. And it is. If we look at the chart, we have a lower high on the weekly RSI while price has gone higher. And this could play into the short-term analysis I'm about to talk about. But you're going to see that's it. People saying that's the top. That's some bearish divergence. It's over. But I want to go to 2 cycles ago. We can take a bunch of different data points out of these cycles, but here's one. Same thing was happening as Trump was saying the dollar's too strong and he was coming into office. That is to say, we had higher high on price, lower high on momentum oscillator. Was that it for Bitcoin? Did it start falling? Was it top in? Was it a double top? No. Not only that, Bitcoin actually went on to do it again, right? Another bearish divergence. Higher high on price, lower high on the RSI. Was that it? Was that the end for Bitcoin? So we have 2 bearish divergences on the weekly macro chart, and Bitcoin just kept going. Now we have incredibly similar fundamentals from a time perspective and a 4-year cycle data perspective. We have once again a Trump who is thinking the dollar is too strong. But not only that, we have so many other things in play. I'm not even mentioning everything that's happening in the US with Bitcoin, with crypto, with taxes, the governmental race for Bitcoin. So that's that. But now we can zoom in on the charts. This is a 30-minute. I'm going to change it to a daily, and we can look at this. And then we're going to talk about altcoins. But this is a daily chart. We can talk about more downside, and I will still sit here and just be hanging out, waiting for this cycle. It is only January. Maybe February goes green. We continue up after all this consolidation, but maybe we go lower. Check out this video, very quick clip from 2 months ago when Bitcoin was just at $89,000. What I want to point out is what we point out all the time in these patterns. You get breakouts to the upside, and then you get throwbacks to the trend line. Now, this is something I've been talking about really since that moment, and it's this. I'll zoom all the way out on the daily chart, and this is what it's looking like. In that video, I was discussing this massive multi-year inverse head and shoulders. And if you've been on my live stream over the months, you've been watching my, shorter term videos, I've been talking about, and by the way, I did this video somewhere back here. Bitcoin was making the breakout. I've been talking about the potential for a throwback to the neckline. It's a normal technical move. When you have a multi-year pattern like this, that move will take time to set up, right? Just like, look at the shoulder. Look how long that shoulder took to set up, like over 8 months or so for that shoulder to set up. Massive left shoulder, massive formation of the head, massive right shoulder. If we're going to get a throwback, and that's an if, it's not a guarantee, that will be a longer term setup and a lot of uncertainty happening during that period. And I will say this, a lot of pressure cooker pressurization will be building up during this moment, not only right now, but even if it actually does fall. That move, if it happens, I just want to say, is a normal move. I continue to say that over the course of the last 2 months, and I will continue to say it if it happens. People will be freaking out. I will still be sitting here bullish on 2025, bullish on higher highs and higher lows. So I want to mention that in relation to Bitcoin. Now, if that happens, and that's an if, right? There's no guarantee. If that happens, altcoin markets will obviously be, suffering. And we're going to look at those charts in a little bit, in just a minute. One thing I wanted to mention, though, while we're on the daily Bitcoin chart, there is a lot of fear in the space right now with Bitcoin, even with price of Bitcoin. But even just look at the move. Bitcoin, as of now, and this could change, and it might, we could close the candle below the 50-day moving average, below $99,000. But this is the very first thing I'm watching. We have the 20-day crossing below the 50, back above the 50. The question is, will Bitcoin, as it's kind of just been consolidating around these two moving averages, find support at these areas for continuation to the upside? So right now, it's a really nice short-term area to discuss and to kind of watch for Bitcoin. Even if you look at this, we've been tracking this. We had this triangle, swing high, kind of formed. Bitcoin broke out. Look at this double touch. We had kind of a test here of that trend line, the yellow trend line, touch here, kind of a throwback on the shorter term pattern. So we talk about the longer term throwback that's in play for the head and shoulders neckline, right? That throwback On all of these patterns, these throwbacks are in play. Well, now here's the throwback on the descending triangle. So right now, support really is around $98 to $100,000 for Bitcoin. And you can see the wick of Bitcoin on the daily. That's what I'll be watching on the short term. And then beyond that, what happens at the apex of the triangle down to 92,000? That is in play. We don't have to definitely fall to the neckline down here in the upper 70s, but the first support area, 98 to 100,000. Below that, the apex of the triangle itself, if Bitcoin's going to throw back into that before going higher or breaking to the downside. But these are short-term things to watch for. And I think as we get short-term speculations and moves, I think a lot of people make long-term decisions or think long-term things are happening. That is to say, man, look at this Bitcoin chart. It's over. We're entering the bear market. But then when we get moves like this to the upside and over a few days, people become bullish. The short-term volatility of emotion in this market is crazy to see. That's why I like to cover these charts so that when we're getting moves, I can just put aside emotion and just be like, all right, I know what the targets are. I know where support is. And even if Bitcoin's going to fall to like $80,000, I know that it's a normal technical move, even in this bull market. Painful. Not what a lot of people want to see, but normal. Here's altcoin markets on the monthly, total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So pretty crazy. If altcoins don't even really break all-time high from last cycle, absolutely bonkers if that's the case. So we're about to enter a bear market, and this chart, in the most fundamentally bullish cycle we've ever had, in the golden fourth year of the 4-year cycle, at the beginning of the year, it's over. I have a lot of trouble believing that. 276 days post Bitcoin halving last cycle. Here's the chart on this chart. Testing all-time high from the previous cycle and breaking finally above it. Here we are in the same month, testing all-time high. There's 4 days, 8 hours left of this month, right? So maybe we don't get the move above in this month. But you can just see how on pace this chart is, where we are in the cycle. This is the candle last cycle, right? And we see what happens. There were still months and months and months of bull market left. So that's a time frame perspective. Now, the other thing I wanted to look at on this chart really quickly is the RSI. We've not even really entered overbought on the RSI. We've not had that parabolic move for altcoins just yet on the RSI. And it's very much illustrated on this chart. I continue to maintain this opinion that is still what is ahead of us for this year, 2025. Let the pressure build on these charts. I think a lot of people are getting shaken out of the markets, and that could continue in the short term, so be very careful. But that's Bitcoin chart, that's total crypto market cap chart. But then we just look at individually altcoins, right? This is Ethereum. Same question for Ethereum. Bull market is really over, and Ethereum made one swing high out of the bear market and never broke that swing high and it's over? Or is it just more pressure, more consolidation? And you zoom out on a chart like this and you're just kind of like, man, there's a pattern here and there's not been a breakout yet. Ethereum could go to 2,600, still be incredibly bullish for a bullish continuation in this bull market. More pain, yes. More patience, yes. More people getting shaken out of the markets, yes. But at this moment of the cycle with where we are, there is a ton of time for a very bullish 2025, a very bullish bull market for Ethereum. And Ethereum acts as a very nice indicator for altcoin markets. Same thing with Cardano. Cardano on the weekly. It is setting up a right shoulder, a potential right shoulder. There's not a guarantee of this inverse head and shoulders. Right now, the only thing I'm watching on Cardano is support down to around 74 cents, 75 cents. It's around the 200-week moving average on this chart. What happens there? Ultimately, we have the 20-week moving average getting very close. If I actually remove this yellow line, getting very close to the 200. That green crossing above the 200, the red, is a very bullish thing, is what we want to see. But in that move of this 20 crossing above the 50 and the 200, this consolidation is normal to pull into these areas, right? To pull into all of these moving averages before going higher. This could be a very nice setup for Cardano for the right shoulder that we're looking for that could propel Cardano through all-time highs towards a $250 billion market cap area and towards its own bull market. Again, point of showing the chart, similar to Ethereum. This Cardano chart has some normal consolidation. It's even actually more healthy than the previous bull market consolidation that we had back here. It's cooling off even more. XRP showing its strength on the daily, not even below the 20-day moving average, holding very strong, that wick below the 50 and the 20. Something like XRP I'm watching closely. Something like XRP has some recent really nice headlines and narratives going for it. So seeing how it operates in this environment will be kind of maybe a helpful leading indicator of what happens next for crypto. If XRP starts going green to the upside, there's a good possibility that the short-term bottom, even the midterm bottom, is in for crypto. So watch what something like XRP does, or at least I'm watching what something like XRP does on the shorter term. Still around 7 hours left of the daily candle. Curious to see where XRP closes. That 20-day around 288. Right now, XRP around 295. Long story short, this dip might not be over, right? So a lot to watch for. Here's a daily chart on the altcoin charts, altcoin market cap chart. This dip might not be over. There might need to be more consolidation to the downside. And I asked a similar question in a recent video. I took a fractal, I think on Bitcoin, from all the way back here. This is March 2024 to the next breakout. Months and months. If something like this were to play out and we're dipping, we're at 733 billion, but there's going to be continuation in the bull market for a really nice bull market. Continuation, a super cycle. Can you be here for it? Can you survive that? Do you have the patience for it? For me, I'm looking at the fundamentals of crypto right now, and I'm macro bullish. And that's just it. I'll continue tracking the short-term price action with y'all. I appreciate each and every one of you. Right now, as I do this video, Bitcoin back below $100,000. That's going to be a big headline of the day, below $100,000. But zoom out, have a plan, be ready for everything, anticipate everything, and expect nothing. Please hit the subscribe, hit the like. I appreciate you cruising through. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.